Today's episode is brought to you by Pickles. Pickles, nature's cucumber, fermented in vinegar, and punctuated by the vitriol of being submerged underwater. I'm James True. Good to see you. A little out of breath, forgive me. I didn't know I was going to do a show. And so I was running around. And, I'm kind of out of shape, you know. I've been doing a lot of aerobics. Oh my God, thank you, Alexander. Wow. Yeah, fuck, I can go. I should have held it, Alexander. Now I'm going to leave. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Guys, you guys have really been coming through on the stuff. We're still a little bit low on Patreon. I don't want to bring that up and like, hey man, but we are a little bit low, and keep in mind that number is going to drop before the next. I'm just saying what normally happens is at the end of the month, some of those pledges will drop, you know, because people have a hard time. Or get drained by the old snake, right? The old Pithos is draining you in the Ficos. This is like a FICO score. The essential whole of your FICO score is a port in your body. And the Pithos from Ficos is the snake of your credit score. It's a TransUnion creation. It was the merging of Equifax and what was the other one? Can't remember. But yeah, that's how it works. Nate, good to see you. Imagine he just says thanks for the super chat. And yeah, I know. I was tempted, right? But then, man, no, let's keep this train rolling, right? Let's keep it rolling. Guys, I just published an article called A Tale of Two Cults. I've had this article in my... Is the volume okay? I was a little bit low in the volume yesterday. Let me know if not. I think hopefully it's better now. I'm going to do really better, try and do better about the mic. So yeah, let me just really pay... How's this? Is that good? So yeah, I actually re-uploaded yesterday's episode where I boosted the audio, and I'm going to try and get better at that. So appreciate you. I published an article called A Tale of Two Cults. It is an article that's been in my chamber, in the old gun chamber. FPS. Oh my God, hi to everyone from California. James is talking about first-person shooter. And we can't have first-person shooter, James, because that's going to show people that we promote violence. Even though video games, the number one selling platform in video games is first-person shooter. Yeah, so that that happened 8 years ago. It is still in my body. It is still in my electricity. Still there. Hey, Mel, good to see you. What is this? Is this Elon Musk's son in the house? XTOS9. You know, it's cool. Good to see you, man. Thumbs up. Thumbs up, XTOS9. I'm sorry, I just made fun of your name. Sorry. And it's the first time I ever met you. This is not the way to meet. XTOS. I like that. Oh, wait. STO6. XTO6. That works. STO6. And then the one is actually not part of your name. That was what you typed. I'm with it now. It's taking me a little while. Nico, good to see you. Testicles, feeling it. Alexander. Yes. So, Tale of Two Cults. Let me say it third time. Sorry. Then I swear I will not say this again. But it has been in my chamber the whole time, and I haven't been excited about loading it. I want to be honest with you. I don't want you to know how disappointed I am in the anti-movement. I don't want to scapegoat the anti-movement into one thing. But the anti-movement is really letting me down. I used to cling to the anti-movement and found it so powerful. It was such a great way to jack into energy. And you know who blew it? A bunch of really weak-minded charlatans that came in and just camped there. And if those people would not have camped there, I would still be able to believe. I would still have the belief in that the anti-system itself would be a good enough camp to where I could camp. I would live there today. You'd see me and I'd have sheep. I don't mean like in a cult way. I mean like I'd be raising sheep. I'd be shearing the sheep and petting the sheep, and they all had names, and I'd be telling you this cute idea where what if we planted like berries inside the backs of sheep? And what if we What if God saw this and said, that's a fucking great idea. A sheep that has berries? And this is fucking brilliant. And then the sheep would like roll around in the field and squash the berries, but create like a cult like paint, war paint, but like sheep paint, you know, because they're not like, let's go to war. It's more like, let's go over there and eat clover. And they're like, bah! And you know, but then they'd be like war clovering, you know, they'd be like war clovers. And so, like, the blueberry sheep would have more blueberries on their butt, and they, in order to indoctrinate themselves, they would sit on their butt cheeks and slide down the hill, right? Some sheeps would scrape the side of trees, right? Some would get their head with just red raspberries. You'd have like red raspberry sheeps. You'd have blueberry butt sheeps. You'd have boysenberry side rails, right? Look like gazelles because they scrape through the trees and they build culture. And I just think if God was to see this, it'd be like, I don't know why I didn't think of that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. And so this is where I'd rather be. I'd rather be playing with these ideas. I'd rather be contributing to the vernacular. This is my contribution. You guys can have it. Enoch, when you are planning the next arc and you're putting all the stuff in, it's already said it. I've already uploaded it. I've uploaded it through you guys' witness. Thank you very much for taking that. Yes, exactly, Adrian. It'd be naturally dyed. I didn't even get to this part. It would be naturally dyed. It would be the most organic fucking socks you could ever believe. It's like, wait, are those blueberry butt cheeks sheep socks? Are those blueberry butt cheeks? Butt sheep cheeks? They call it cheeks because it's like butt cheeks and cheeks. You know, they play with the name. You get it. And you'd be like, are you getting those? Are you going to get those for her for Christmas? My God. You must really love her. Blueberry butt cheeks. They're not bad. So I'd rather do this. I want to have fun. I want to hang out with all you guys. And the anti-crowd has really let me down. And I've been pushed to the side because I have the kind of craziness to report about it. That's my problem. I mentioned last time I'm the apex predator of the truth movement, and honestly, this is one of those things I've had in the chamber that I've been like, James, you can't shoot that. And I've said, why not? And I've said, because you do not have enough clout to shoot members in your own field. This was months ago. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, James, look at what happened when you wrote Body is a Fortune Cookie. And I described this process that I've learned about how the cellular mechanics utilize propaganda to distribute information to and from cells. And in the process of this communication happening, we decided to have a debate about whether virus was real. And when that happened, not to toot my own butt cheek, but I was one of the first that really paraded into that real open force going, let's deny the shit out of this fucking place. Let's see what happens. And Andy Kaufman and I had a conversation that really took off. And it took off because the idea was that there's no proof anywhere of any kind of gain of function. And I heard Andy say this, and because he's a doctor, I just naturally just kept my field open and listened to what he had to say. And in the middle of what he had to say, there was a problem, which was that Andy was showing me his other kinds of behaviors, just the way he deals in the world. It's you could call it judgmental, and I think you'd be right, because I think that we should judge. I think that we should watch. The liberal side is going to be one that kind of ignores your actions but focuses on your thoughts. The Republican side is going to ignore your thoughts and focus on your actions. Neither one of these are right. They're just simply instrumental ways of like looking at the other side. And when I noticed all the other fields in Andy's form, all the other things that he was saying, including his behavior, but also what he was saying, I stayed quiet for over a year because I just didn't know enough. And the entire time when I didn't know enough, I was reading the shit out of this place. I have never dived more into anatomy because of what Andy Kaufman told me. I spent at least 2 years quietly not even mentioning it on my streams because I just found I was such a neophyte at this place. I still am. Please do not mishear me as saying I have a superior understanding of the body. In fact, if I was to compare myself to the average person, I would be able to find comfort, and I know that I should not. I do not know enough. I do not understand enough. I am barely scratching the surface of what it means to have this meta architecture. This critical brain theory is the closest word I can describe it to you, and even that has its flaws, but this conceptual understanding that we are a metaphysique, that the entire energy with which we exchange ourselves seems to be extra somatical in explanation. And when we start to study the thalamus, we have these clues, and they are just really broad clues, that it seems to have something to do with propaganda. These little fucking protein shells are wandering around your body. And what is a protein shell? It's just a cap. You go to the grocery store, you buy an acorn, a little plastic cap, and inside is some kind of toy. You don't know what the toy is. You've seen through the visor what the toy could be. And it encourages you to open your ion channel by sticking a quarter into the slot and turning the key. You are unlocking your door to your hotel room, and you're like, hey, I'm kind of interested to see who's going to come inside. You've looked through the peephole. You've seen it could be an acorn that has a little green alien riding a fucking tricycle. And you're like, oh my God, I want that so bad. I want the alien riding the tricycle. What falls down the hatch? Your ion channel opens. The little cast metal flap opens up, and you pull out this thing. And you're like, I got it. It's pack. The top is sort of pinkish peach. You open it up, and there's a sheet of paper inside. And you're like, well, okay. And then you move the paper, and there's a gummy worm. It's a gummy worm. It's not bad. It's at least 9 inches long. You can put it on your dashboard and it slowly melts. And then as all the dust and tobacco shavings and a little green shake stick to the thing, hairs from the dog, hairs from you, cling to this thing, and you start to notice that if you stick your coffee cup, you have a Volkswagen and you don't have a coffee cup holder, so you can actually stick your coffee cup right on top of this gummy worm. And in the summer, it actually fucking holds that thing. And you're like, this is great. I didn't know that's what it was. And if you read the sheet of paper, it probably doesn't say use this to hold your coffee. And if you go around a corner, it doesn't have any kind of gyroscopic stability. I mean, right? But still, you find a use for these things, right? You find a use for them. Everyone else looks and goes, girl gets in the car and she's like, what the hell is that thing? And I'm just like, yeah, you're not for me, baby. It's not going to work out. Time to hit the road. And she's already gone. She's like, I'm not riding around with a dude who thinks that a hair-encrusted gummy worm is some sort of like coffee stabilization device while you drive, Jimmy True. I don't know what the... You guys don't know what's happened to me. None of you know. None of you know the things I've been through. You think I'm pretty open about it, right? You're like, God, he's always... No, I don't share these deeper things. This is just a little sliver in that life. The point is that this acorn is a virus. The little plastic acorn that you get, that you drop 25 cents in, you lost 25 cents because you want to be open in the world. You want surprise. You're looking for things. You're under the impression that the alien on the tricycle is exactly what's going to solve all your problems. You're going to walk around school with it. People are going to be like, oh, is that a fucking alien on a tricycle? And be like, fuck yeah, it is. Fuck to the yeah. It's an alien on a trike. Fuck to the yeah. It is. And so you want these things. You're willing to gamble. And the thalamus is willing to gamble. And so you need some way to open your cellular walls to accept things that are fucking mystery. And so we do. What do? We place receptors on the outsides of our cellular walls, our nucleic wall, actually. And these receptors have a certain key, and the receptor is looking for a certain thing. It's like, yeah, I'm looking for an alien on a tricycle. Anybody got an alien on a tricycle? And just by opening our nucleus to a receptor, keep in mind, you will never find what you want if you do not have a receptor in place. Dun, dun, dun. You will never find what you want unless you have a receptor open. This is how the nucleus works. And so your nucleus is constantly open to new things, because if you closed off your nucleus to all things, you would suffocate. Don't believe me? Stick a cork up your butthole. Stick 2 corks in your ear. Stick 2 more, let's use erasers. Stick 2 erasers up your nose. And fill your mouth with spray foam. And tell me how fucking sovereign you are, because I can't wait to fucking hear. Oh my God, you're so sovereign. Oh, look at you digging a hole. Pooping in yourself. Wow. Dude, you got it. You got your own biodome. Look at you. Look at you. Look kind of bloated. You okay? Dude, breathe. Oh, you can't. Oh, forgot. But fuck, you were sovereign. Way to go, man. Way to go. You did it. You won. We don't have that fantasy. I know we like to think we do. I mean, it's kind of weird. I don't actually like to think that. There's like a whole fetish cult that's like into that, probably. It's probably there. Probably some suffocation, little, probably called corking. I bet you it's called corking. Can someone look that up? Nate, can you check that on the live stream? See, go into private browser, look up corking. Just tell me if the first image is what you and I think it probably is. You know what, Nate? Don't do that. Why am I doing that to you? You don't need to do that. This is why we need AI. This is exactly why we need it. AI would do this. It would come back. It's like, yep, there's a cork in the butt, dear Liza. And it would all be there. So let's get back to this. It's important that you have a vehicle to communicate intercellularly. There is no way you are going to survive without it. It's absolutely not going to happen. Now, back to this Tale of Two Cults. I don't even want to tell you this because you're not going to be able to decide. I mean, I'm not going to be able to decide what side you think I'm on. Do you hear that? I'm not going to be able to decide what impression you have about what side I believe. This is what's so confusing about this. And one of the reasons, there's at least two reasons that I can think of why I did not release this article earlier. Number one, I'm embarrassed for this anti-side. It really bothers me. And I'm embarrassed not because of the behavior just of Andy. Yes, Andy has some behavior that's kind of suspect. But I'll be honest with you. Out of everyone's behavior, Andy's actually been the cleanest. The cleanest. When I look what Dr. Sam Bailey does, it's not a red flag, guys. It is all flags that have ever come up are laughing at how ridiculously silly it would be if I did not see this. And when you see that kind of thing and you do not trust yourself, see, when I see it with Andy, I still think that, hey, just because Andy is in this mode with me, it doesn't mean that the entire antivirus debate is now bunk. That's how loyal I am to my own exploration. I don't see that I'm better because Andy is less, nor do I think my position is stronger because the anti has been destroyed. And when I see the anti-movement, all I see is this. Guys, if you look at the magical frequency of being flat earth, which is a beautiful thing, I want you to have this posture, which is why I want you to be a flat earther, is because you go into a church that thinks it has the singular solution and no one else does. And when you go into the anti-vaccine movement, you find a group that insists there is a singular truth to what vaccines are, and this is the only thing that it is. And you start to watch a church come in and decorate. They build an altar. They put a doorman at the front. They have an usher who collects money. They have someone who comes in and tunes the organ once a week. And these are crucial. This is important. There is no rational form of thought that I have ever found because I believe that every single thing that you've ever come up with has been the congruent duel between two entities. One you would call your left brain and one you would call your right. And you're purposely placing these ideas into the ring because the great Gaia, the processor, is asking you, could you please render me a triangle about vaccines? She wants your triangle. She's not interested in your reflection of someone else's triangle. She's paying you, the processor. She's giving you realm in the mercy seat. You have a mercy seat where you were able to tap into Gaia and fucking compute. And she wants you to compute about vaccines. She's not telling you what to believe. The charlatans are telling you that she is telling you what to believe. She wants you to render a triangle. That's it. It is important to her, which is why she's given you all of these resources to do it. I see antivirus, anti-vaccine as the same thing as I see flat earth, as I see the CDC, as I see conservatives, as I see liberals. There is a church that we build, and we need this place. It is important. The congregation that we call cult is how you find people that you love. There are cults of people that have built their friendship around hating me. Those same cults built their friendship around finding me. They have brethrenship because of my fucking triangles. It's the only reason why they found each other. They would not have found each other if they saw that I was babbling the same fucking triangle everyone else is. They would only pick me because they noticed something special. None of this is rational. Every bit of this is fate. This is quantum lust. That's what this fucking is. And we are lusting for new ideas because deep inside the oracle mythology tells us that no one has solved it yet. When I find this kind of charlatanism, this kind of gatekeeping, this kind of obfuscation, I know these are not my people. I first saw this in pro-vaccines. This is the first place I saw it. It was in pro-vaccines. And I saw it in pro-vaccines because I discovered something really, really important. And that was, I'm trying to stall you so I can pull this picture up. Thank you for watching, James True. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're enjoying this topic. We can talk about anything. I'm not going to take my clothes off, so don't even ask. This thing right here. Hello from Romania. Melissa's mine in the house. Good to see you, Melissa. Thanks for being here, everybody. This is what I want to show you, guys. This is 2018. Guys, this is 2018. Ryan Marino, the person pictured at the top, is actually sponsored by the CDC now. When I say sponsor, what I mean is that the CDC lists him as an expert on vaccines. Ryan Marino has, like, the ratio of tweets per day, at least back then. This guy's tweeting like 40 times a day. He claims to be a doctor in an emergency room. The CDC backs him up. I don't know how this guy is saving lives because of all the time he spends on Twitter. Below him is Eva Switzer, really one of the most cutthroat, brutal charlatan gatekeepers I've ever met. Will purposely obfuscate and drain the shit out of you on technical details just to make you waste your time and make everyone else tired who tries to listen. So Ryan's a bully. And I'm not even trying to call names. I know I'm calling them names, but I want you to see their technique. Ryan's more of a bully, and Eva's more of a gatekeeper. I mean, actually, it's the other way around. One of many, many things that I encountered with this. This was back when I didn't know you could even. I didn't know that, guys. I didn't know that doubting the V was even a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. I did not know that that was even something that people were like questioning. This is how blind I was. And I was on Twitter because I was trying to write. And I knew that if I wrote on Twitter, I was able to I had to force myself to condense things into a short sentence. And that really, really sharpens your tongue, which is your mental tongue in a really brilliant way. And I noticed the behavior. I noticed that Ryan was actually bullying this old lady because he said, you need to stop reading. Like, that was his words. And I was like, what? She was like, he said, you read too much. Your problem is you read too much. And at first I was like, this is just some, bullshit artist on Twitter. But then I started to notice he had credentials, and more importantly, he had all these other people helping him. Dr. Paul Offit works with this guy. Dr. Paul Offit was featured in the video I released yesterday. If you don't even know who that is, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's not even important. But me dropping his name, telling you that I've had contact with him, should show you I've been in this for a long time because I'm curious. I'm fucking curious. I do not need to convince the world that this is a eugenate program, genetics, genetics program, it's genate wearing jeans on the day, gene. I hope you get me. Sorry. At first, I was embraced in the anti-realm of, oh my God, it's them versus us. And by embracing in that realm, I'm like, well, fuck, yeah, everything they say is wrong. And if I can prove one thing they say is wrong, then my side is right. And I championed that cause, and I rode it for every mile I could get. I beat it like a fucking dead horse. I flogged that horse to death. I rode the anti-train as long as I could, and I fell off because it wasn't working. Wasn't working because I wasn't going to be able to bully everyone and destroy their point in order to prop up my position. That's why. There were too many people. I didn't do it because I'm like, well, because I'm morally reached a plateau, guys. I looked in my heart and I decided, hey, heart, this isn't the right thing to do, and we're a good... No, that's not what I did. You know what I did? I was just like, fuck, I can't brute force 8 million fucking people, or however many people there are. I can't fucking argue with all of them. That's the only reason why I gave up. I'm just trying to be honest. That's the only reason. I didn't give up because I'm like noble, or like God came down and said, James, stop playing with yourself. A, B, that's not the truth. That didn't happen. By the way, God came down and said, James, it's okay to play with yourself. I'm never going to shoot this bullet out of the, I don't want to, I know it's true. I'm sorry. You are supposed to play with yourself. Guys, you're not supposed to be able to blow your own horn. God did tell me that's out. He literally said, James, I know that you can reach, but that's out of the question. He made that very clear. He said, I know you can reach, and you're the only one I allow this to reach because I know that you will listen to me. I say, don't do that. So I just wanted you to know, you can't do that. That's one thing. He's just got a few rules. And I think it has something to do with Ouroboros. Ouroboros, the snake that eats its own tail. I think that if you could do that, you would create your own universe. You would like form into this coil if you could do that. Like if you're in a playground, it's like you're 15 and you like figure that out and you like show your friends, right? I think you would turn into this spiraling, whirling dervish, and like this like wormhole Taurus thing would open up, right? And then you would be spinning inside of it, as you're swallowing your own horn. And like all this fucking light, well, you're probably asking how I know this. Look, I asked forgiveness, okay? I had to try it once. And now you're probably going to blame all this shit on me because I opened that Pandora's sheep hole. I should not have done a stream. I've let too much out. Damn it. What are we going to do, guys? Should we go on? Or have I just lost you all in shame? It's okay. Neither side embraces their ignorance. And I love ignorance. This is white belt. The magic of white belt is ignorance. And a baby is not afraid of snakes. A baby has no fear of snakes. The magic of ignorance is so powerful. I've watched a giant husky dog like play with a baby and like jump into its face, right? And then like the baby just stands there. It's just like, and just laughs. And it's like, that's power. That is power, is it not? So I love ignorance. I think it's important, but neither side will embrace their ignorance. And this is another big clue. Both gather in the fringes to throw rocks at passing cars. Dr. Marino threw rocks at passing cars, and the antiviral crowd throws rocks at passing cars. We ridicule the CDC and call them stupid because we think it makes us win. But why do they need to be stupid for your position to be right? Is there a chance that maybe both could be answers? We'll get to that. Both sides use decomprehension as a form of argument. Do you understand? To decomprehend someone is to make them repeat things over and over, right? To ask questions that you've just answered is to decomprehend something, right? Oh, thank you, Cole. Blueprints of Mind Control changed my outlook on everything. Thanks for your work. Thanks for reading Blueprints of Mind Control. I think more people should check it out. Appreciate it. Both sides are obligated to praise their own team. I've noticed this too, where if someone says something wrong, but they're on your team, if you feel inclined to like it, you are in this church. Guys, let me say this again. This is a good church. The anti-church, you're going to learn so much here. You're going to learn so much, and you're going to come back to this church over and over. This is not a, now you can't come back to the anti-church. No, I want you to understand, recognize the congregation, get to know these people. I want you to trade with these people. I want you to openly trade with these people. I want you to look lustfully at their daughters, whatever it takes for you to embrace the culture of this place, because it is a necessary tool the same way ignorance is a necessary white belt that you need. Your immunity needs these things. And the cult of others that are embraced in anti is going to be a place where you can find refuge. But you're not going to be able to live here. I'm not able to live there. You may be able to live there. There may be room in the basement. There's some people that live in the basement of these churches, and they do quite well. So forgive me for suggesting you can't live there. I just can't live there. Both sides are obliged to praise their own team, as I said. Both sides employ inside language. Inside language would mean, he said rabies, so that means he doesn't know what he's talking about. And then when you ask them, so what do you, then they're like, well, it's Kuru disease. And then you're like, okay, so the artist formerly known as rabies, now called Kuru disease, still has all of the things that I just told you it has, right? It has an impedance into the blood-brain barrier. It thrives inside the hippocampus. It passes messages neuron to neuron at the speed of fucking sound, and the entire thing is one of the simplest forms of protein shells that we've ever found. That it's so simple, we're able to add fluorescent markers to it and use it to track the fucking brain. And you want to tell me that thing, the artist formerly known as rabies, does not exist because I had the nerve to use the term rabies to describe this new term that you've just invented that still means the same thing? And they're gone. I was too hard. I was pushing with too much passion and drama. I felt threatened by the fact that they were attacking my belief. This is why I didn't shoot this gun earlier. This is why the bullet has been in the chamber. Because I am not helping this person's immunity. So how do I help a charlatan's immunity while at the same time maybe encouraging people to learn to see in the dark? It is fucking hard. It's fucking hard because I'm always seeing it on my own side, in my own camp, because I'm compassionately, symbiotically fucking connected to you people. And when I'm connected to you people, I will see your flaws because I believe in you. I know you. I have brethrenship with you. I am learning my own by watching you do the same. Both sides employ gatekeeping. And why would you not? There's just some of the worst fucking people out there that wander in off the street. I do not believe in communism. Some people have been so mad at me because I've had the nerve to fire a mod. Or I've had the nerve to say, sorry man, you can't hang out anymore. They're like, how fucking dare you? And I'm like, you know what, S.A.? You only came to this place because I pruned it before you got here. I pruned this place. And when I run out of money, this is why. Because I prune. I turn down people that give me money all the time because they are corrupting the cult that I have formed. They're corrupting this place. Jason Brashears told 100,000 people that I am a danger to his community. Why? Because I am a protein shell that has information they might need. This is how it works. We are underground guerrillas of belief. We gather among rebels. We pull the scraps of fallen tanks from an empire that we do not believe. We reject all their technology while we hoard their bullets underneath our carpet and use them to destroy anyone who disagrees. Who wants to own that? Who wants to let me stay in your camp after what I just said? Both sides employ caloric obfuscation. Both sides want you to repeat the same fucking thing for the 17th time because it makes them feel better to watch you squawk. Both sides refuse to hold a position in a singular forum or place. They run. And when you catch them in the alley, they get to not remember what happened because it was in a different place. Both sides agree one of them is 100% correct. This is the biggie. Both sides agree one of them is 100% correct. And this ultimately is why both cults need each other. Both cults need each other because they help each other believe. Do you understand? If you believe that there's an enemy against you, you automatically feel right. You feel attacked, and if you feel attacked, you are going to have more righteous calories than you did before. Righteous is a good word here, by the way. Righteous is going to make you commit morality in the face of abrasion. You're going to unleash your morality and practice it on the field because you feel righteous, okay? So righteous is an important part of the immune system. It's an important part of this thing. But I need you to understand the hack. If I'm saying you're false and you're saying I'm falser, both of us are going to feel right or not wrong. Both of us are going to feel the communion of being in the foxhole because we are attacked. If the rest of the world thinks the world is a globe, you and I will find communion naturally as long as we agree that it's not. We don't have to agree on what it looks like. I've told Dave Weiss more times than I can count, hey, why don't we fucking talk about your model a little bit more? It's kind of flawed. And why would you talk about a model that's flawed? This is a church. We don't want to show the congregation how the sausage is made, and I literally mean this. You wouldn't want to show that. When I have to fire a mod, I don't want to do it in front of everybody. It kind of sucks that I have to fire a mod. I don't want to fire a mod. My mods have shown how expensive they're going to make it if I fire them. But I'm still going to do it, and I'm going to do it when no one's looking. I'm going to do it because it's my church. It's my church. I don't give a shit that some of you are like, you walk around like you own this place. It's like, yeah, I have to. I have to fucking prune it. You know why? Because no one else will. And someone will walk in whistling Dixie, a new song about Dixie, about how there's this magic free energy device, and it's called Andy Kaufman, or it's called whatever else. It's called just say it's not true, or gain of function, or Cox postulates. These are some of the weakest arguments I've seen. You want to know why they're weak? Because cellular absorption is gain of function. And when you show someone a picture of cellular absorption, they're like, that's CGI. And they're like, it's not CGI. This picture came from Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman used this picture of cellular absorption to prove that viruses aren't real. If you're going to use a picture of cellular absorption to prove that viruses aren't real because exosomes communicate, then I'm going to say, well, wait a minute. Wouldn't we be communicating through exosomes? And the answer is yes. Is this not a picture? Yes. But this is a picture from the antivirus side, and I'm using it against the antivirus side, and that's fucking not acceptable. Do you know why it's not acceptable? Because of Rule 8. Or Rule... What was the rule? Yeah, 4. Both sides are obligated to praise their own team. You can't do that. You can't do that. Both sides cave under direct communication. If you directly communicate, they cave. Amel, I cannot say it better. It's actually in the article. No one should have the keys to your temple but you. This is exactly my point. And I hope that it's not missed. I really do, because all I did in this article was show you here's the pro-vaccine behavior, and here's the anti-vaccine behavior, and this is what I see. You have Loiterer, A loiterer is someone who hangs out in a church and will believe any church simply to tap into the group's electricity. So this is a communitarian. That's fine. Communitarian's a good thing. They want humanity, right? Oh my God, Bible Book Club. Oh, thank you so much, Bible Book Club. Oh, that means a lot. Huge super chat for Bible Book Club. Quantum Rapture is one of my best science fiction books I've ever read. Thank you, James. Thank you so much. I love that book, especially what's happening right now, guys, with the AI. And here I am 5 years ahead with this novel. I did not plan that. Loiterer. One in a church who believes the church simply to tap into the group's electricity, right? When I was a kid, I went to the Baptist church. I was an Episcopalian, but I got to go to the Baptist church, and I went there because they fucking had a basketball court. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You guys have a basketball court? They're like, dude, we got a showers and gym. I'm like, you have showers? I'm like, yeah, we have showers. We have a bus. I'm like, you have a fucking bus? I'm like, yeah, we have a bus. Like, what the fuck's going on in this place? You know what they said? They said, it's because the Lord. It's because we believe. And I'm like, well, fuck, I am a believer. Sign me up. I go back to Episcopal church, and they were like, here's a dry unleavened wafer. Get on your knees. Recite this thing in Latin. You don't even get a Bible. Here's a Book of Common Prayer. And I'm like, well, okay. So we get the red door. That's cool. You get a stone building with a red door. That's cool as fuck. But they have fucking basketball. Guys, there's a jukebox. There's a jukebox. Guys, this church has a jukebox. It's got a jukebox. I don't think you heard me. This church has a jukebox. And I was just blown away. I was just like, I want to be a Baptist so bad. I want to be a Baptist so bad. This is so cool. And the people there were so warm and nice, and I loved them. And I didn't want them to find out. I was so afraid they were going to find out. But I love the camaraderie. I love the family I felt. I love the forgiveness that the Baptists claim to have. It leaks from their pores. You can smell it and drink it. It's not metallic at all. It tastes like biscuits. The aura of a Baptist tastes like a biscuit. It's quite nice. You have your loiterer. You have your celebrity. This is a person that enters a church in order to simply be a celebrity. So if you just pretend to believe something, you can kind of get a lot of prana from that, and that's great. Then you have a gatekeeper. This is actually someone who does not believe. You actually can't be a believer if you're a gatekeeper. The reason why is because if you're a gatekeeper, you're going to completely destroy the argument that would illuminate your own side. So the gatekeeper will destroy any information. Christy Massey destroyed my attempt to share an article I wrote about cellular absorption, and she did that by calling me a kook. So here, Christina Massey, she's got like 7,000 followers, and Dr. Sam Bailey marks her as her prized assistant. That these two are in the battle together to show the truth of what vaccines are, or what virus is. And Christine has said, I've banned the obnoxious psycho-babbler James True. She's put my name in quotes. Life is too short. Anyone interested in his claims can go read his evidence-free comments directed at me under Craig Hutchinson's evidence-free smear article on the heroic Baileys. She calls them the heroic Baileys. And this is because I published an article called The Body's Fortune Cookies. It showcased the argument that gain of function is cellular absorption. And it discussed the idea that there actually is something that we have a picture of that we're calling rabies. And what we're calling rabies is actually pretty easy to manipulate and manufacture. It's actually just a codon signature of DNA placed inside a protein shell. And then I started to notice that, well, wait a minute, exosomes are protein shells. And then I was like, huh. Then I started to notice that gain of function, here's a picture of gain of function right here, guys. This protein corona might be important for extracellular vesicle function entry, stability. So I think there's a lot more than we need to learn about associations of proteins with the extracellular vesicle. This is a guy that believes in vaccines who wrote that quote. And not only did he write that quote, he believes in vaccines, he still is arguing that cellular absorption seems to be a cellular communication device. And so when you find someone saying this and you align that with Andy Kaufman, but both sides are insisting that the other side is wrong, you find the truth. And that's what I did. James True found the truth because I took the filter of Andy Kaufman and the filter of this doctor and I applied them on top of each other. And I realized they're both right if they would just stop telling each other that the other side's wrong. Gain of function is clearly visible through extracellular vesicle function. Guys, these little dots, doot, 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 doot. That is extracellular communication. You are communicating. Your body is putting ion channels out that say, I would love a little alien on a tricycle, please. And it's hoping through belief that this, seriously, out of the nothingness of latent space, that this signature of codon, this protein shell will wander around that fits that thing. And you've probably seen this animation, right? But it's like a key. This cellular wall has the key. And when the other piece just happens to bump in through it magnetically, typically, that this charge, this creational fate, you could call it, causes these unions to occur. And typically when the union occurs, there's an opening. And just like the sperm, there's an opening of the protein shell and the information comes through. Would you like for me to tell you what sperm is? Sperm is a protein shell with information inside. A virus is a protein shell with information inside. An exosome is a protein shell with an information inside. Propaganda from the media, is a protein shell with information inside. Wait a minute, James, what do you mean? Media, stories, my voice, this article, are protein shells that have information inside. And when you take the propaganda from someone, here's a story about Trump, here's James saying this about that, you are opening yourself up to a vulnerability because you might change. The information inside might change you. And it might change you in a way that the exterior world will call bad, and we call that dis-ease. But all processes when it comes to evolution, personal evolution, I'm not talking about long-term hoo-hoo evolution, I'm talking about ho-ho evolution, your personal evolution, takes place on a microscopic cellular level every moment, every microsecond. And that therefore the maladaption is truly at the root of growth. All maladaption is growth. Your transcribing genes, even if they were perfect, are still being fucked up by transposons. And I use fucked up loosely. That even if your gene transcription process was absolutely perfect, it didn't make a flaw, your genetic code is still being smeared through some kind of time-space continuum through the idea of transposons. You can look this up. I'm not making this up. And so when I've applied all I've done, when Andy Kaufman showed me that I don't have the credentials to even discuss these things with him, I just started reading. And I didn't read it to win or to prove. I read it because I was just fascinated. I was fascinated by it all. And I still am. I'm not convinced that it's one way or the other. I'm simply educating you about what a cult feels like and how they always, always, always will behave. Every time. You know what else is a protein shell? Cytokines. Every single element in your body utilizes propaganda to convey liquid will. And you have surface markers on this will because the markers are facilitating the will in the system. And you have belief, which is RNA, which is information stored inside these protein shells. And I do not give a shit if you want to call it a virus or not. You cannot deny the symbiotic, somatic, cellular communication that's taking place. And I'm tired of watching my friends fall into this pit because I love them. I care for them. But I'm at a crossroads. I've seen people, as you have, pass from myocarditis. I'm not immune to what's happening in the world. Some of you will insist I am, even though you sure do rely on my insight all the time for someone who's always so fucking blind, or only blind about this one particular thing that you happen to be passionately dogmatic about. What a coincidence. But when I look around, I see something really important. Do you know what Rh negative blood means? Rhesus negative. Do you know what that actually means? The woman's body is poison to the baby's body is poison to the mother. They are rejecting each other completely. And many will call this a defect. Many will insist this is the fucking reptilians or it's a separate race. And if we've talked about DNA's winding, we've talked about DNA being wound too tight, and that the percentage of tightness, the percentage of asphyxiation, of squeezing, the sphincter of your DNA changes who you are, what you think about, and more importantly, where and how you build your field of immunity. You see, I started thinking about what happens with babies. And when babies are born, they don't have immunity. And they don't need it because if they did, it would kill them. It would kill them because their immunity would have to fight off their mom. Every time the mom gave them milk, they'd have to be like, fuck you, bitch, you're evil. I can do this myself. Now give me your boob. This is the immunity coming online, and it's electrical. And the reason why there's certain things that come online, the fear of heights. A baby doesn't fear snakes, but a baby fears heights and loud noises right away. That's immunity. This is immune. The immune system is turned on for heights and loud noises. Do you understand how advanced that is? The concept of heights? This is like a spider knowing how to build a web. It's pre-built. It's into the BIOS of your operating system. Into the base OS, you have a tiny underkernels of immunity. And one of these modules is, am I about to fall off something that's really high? Am I about to fall off something that's really high? And it's a demon that's living in your electrical system that's constantly going, am I about to fall off something more high? What is it doing? What is it doing? It's gatekeeping. It's gatekeeping. Sorry, I thought I had this slide up. It's gatekeeping. You need that. Dr. Bailey needs a gatekeeper because Dr. Bailey, her only argument that I've ever seen her employ about why viruses don't exist is that if you disagree with me, it's because you're a narcissist. These are her exact words. I'm not painting her any darker. I've actually cleaned up her language quite a lot. I've seen her publish pictures of poo-poo with flies and placing her enemies on top of the excrement. And this is the leading fucking voice in the antiviral movement. Do you know why I say it's the leading? Because Tom Cowan does not publish his email address. Andy Kaufman will not respond. Andy Kaufman is selling shungite. He's telling you how you can declare yourself sovereign from the legal system. He's not interested in this debate because he knows what this means. He doesn't want to be an archetype either. I wouldn't want to be. I don't like the fucking cult that thrives around me that insists everyone's trying to kill us. I think it's just, frankly, I think it's kind of arrogant to think that the entire world is trying to hoax you personally. That the entire world is putting on this fake facade just to fool you because of how dangerous you are. I think this is fucking crazy. And I don't want someone like that in my foxhole because they're going to just obliterate the fantasy and make everyone else just that much worse for it because they're not going to be able to hold on to their belief. This is why you have to prune these things. This is why Christine is pruning so desperately because she doesn't have anything. The church is corroded. The church is gone. All she can do is build up a facade around it and just squeeze as fucking tight as she can on the camaraderie. And she knows that people who are also antivirus have to vote for her, have to like that thing. And the people that you think are being rational, they just keep scrolling by my article. Just keep scrolling by. They can't actually go comment on it directly. Why? Because I'd be meeting them directly. And this is why I didn't shoot it. Why do I, James Drew, want to destroy their immunity? That's what hit me. It's like, poof. And I started to think about the people that take vaccines. James, why do you want to destroy their immunity? Some babies start to show signs of an immunity after a few weeks. Some don't show for like months. Vitamin K is probably done to stimulate the immune system because after you test for immune bodies, they all come online faster. And so we had the idea that maybe we should stick everybody with vitamin K. It's the same thing that vaccines work. If we poison the body now with something fake, then we'll send out a false alarm, and that false alarm will somehow give it confidence when the real thing occurs. It's a training ritual like a fire department. And the more times you train in the fire department, the more you're going to feel that you are the only way. And the more time you lose to the ritual and the procedure and regurgitating bullshit that isn't even true from people that will not stand up on that thing, then the more you start to deteriorate. And when you see someone like me come around, I'm your worst fucking enemy. And I don't want to be. I want people to believe in vaccines because I think that vaccines are actually going to be electrically important for them to build up their immune system. I also think that built into nature is a natural balancing where if there are too many of us, we change modes. So I don't even know if it's necessary to even discuss the idea that it's our job to create any kind of eugenics program. I think that that's actually happens quite naturally and does and has. I think smallpox is that. I think yellow fever is that. Guys, I've just gone back and read the history of smallpox. That's all. It took at least 3 weeks. Like seriously. It is some of the most ridiculous forms of debate I've ever seen, some of the stupidest ideas on both sides that are claiming certain things. I've still told you the truth, though, about how we actually got vaccines. So not only have I told you the truth, that they came from horse grease, that they came from the scrapings on the sides of cows where we took the pus, and quite literally, I just think just the horror of what that looked like is enough to trigger your immunity. But we don't want to live in the world where it works electrically. This came back before we even invented electricity. Thank you for the super chat, Jason Reed. Instead, we don't want to hold that power, so we need to place it in a thing. So we create the worship of the vaccine. That means cow. This is Hathor. We're reaching for ancient medicine, for an ancient church to give us what we have now. This is why we associate the devil with the Bible. This is why we associate the idea of killing the bull. The things that terrify us are our medicine. I've told you before, all medicine is poison because it's the poison that kicks off your body that says, dude, I want to live. And you only know you want to live because you've placed yourself under threat of Damocles. If you're under the threat of Damocles, then the urge to survive becomes that much more stronger. And I just described to you how the anti-movement works. If a bunch of us feel that we are anti, we will win. We will be stronger. We will be stronger because we will feel attacked. And that's hijacking the system. And frankly, I say go for it. But your church is going to run out of congregation. They're going to leave you, and you're going to get more and more bitter, and you're going to have to assume really, really stupid arguments. You're going to have to start saying, because NASA lies, that means viruses aren't real. And that's, no, that's not a church. That's not going to work for anything. I want you to have a strong immunity, and I want you to capitalize on all of these things that are necessary to make it happen. And one of those is propaganda. Media is a protein shell. These are protein shells. When you look at the presidential seal of the United States, you are flooded with ion channels that are drinking what that means. You're drinking what it means, which means the neurons open up, and when the neurons open up, they connect. NPR is a protein shell. Harvard University is a protein shell. Paramount Pictures is a protein shell. What you believe about these things is a protein shell. What if Corona is a protein shell that never exists? What if the fact that if enough people had a test for it, that enough of the congregation of people that just believe by majority is enough to make things real? This is what I think. And so if it's enough to make things real, therefore viruses do exist, and the reason why they exist is because a bunch of people believe in them. No one wants to have that discussion with me. I'll say it again. If you're ready to jack into the true power of your immune system, you would have to admit the viruses exist because so many people believe in them. And yes, I agree. We've taken an exosome and we've put some fangs on it and we've put a cape on it and we've called it the bad guy. But it doesn't change that cellular absorption is real. It doesn't change that the fact is that I can electrically fucking possess you and make you sick, or I can make you well. And I'm using my protation or my contagion to do that. And I do not have to be in the same room for that to happen. I can do it with my voice. I can do it with my authenticity. This is contagion. This is going to require a vehicle inside this space, inside this quantum canvas that we can record, even if it's as simple as an engram or a shadow. We're going to see signs of this electric immunity I've just described take place, and I believe those signs are going to show themselves in what is called cellular absorption, and I believe that simply because we have pictures and it makes it easy. It makes it easy to see. They're not CGI. Stop lying to yourself. Stop pushing what Andy says. Andy doesn't even say that anymore. Do you know why? Because he knows he's wrong. And that's why you retire. That's why you don't publish your email address. If you literally think that you are one of the few doctors in the entire world who knows the truth about vaccines, you're going to publish your fucking email address. You're going to spend the rest of your life trying to tell people about it. If you're a charlatan who's just riding the wave of whatever's popular, you're going to never question anything. You're not going to ask a damn thing. You're simply going to take engagements to speak, and you're going to call that belief. And it would be belief because it's a celebrity. It fits this role. It's not wrong. It's not wrong. All of these are necessary parts of your congregation, and you will do these by yourself. You will not need others. If you're good at making a church, others will come and fill the roles based on what they think you need the most. Loiterer, someone who believes in a church simply to tap into the electricity. Celebrity, shallow believer doing it for the props from the community. Gatekeeper, someone who doesn't believe but loves the chance at authority. Crusader, they're in it for the swordplay and the spoils. They're not necessarily a gatekeeper, but they definitely want to be the champion or the person who's leading the fight for something. They'll bail the second it gets hard to. Eviscerator, someone who feigns loyalty for literally any opportunity to simply destroy something else. Charlatan, someone who wants to feel helpful more than they want to be accurate. I did not say that a charlatan is evil. I did not say that a charlatan is wrong. I said that a charlatan is someone who wants to feel helpful more than they want to be accurate. A monk is someone who believes, but they're too afraid to go outside. I want you to be a practitioner. I want you to study every form of these postures, incorporate them into your own, and develop your own calligraphy. I trust you, bro. Yes. I trust you. And I have to trust you because if I trust you, my immune system works. If I trust you, my immune system works better. And if I'm going to trust you, you get to put anything in your body and call it medicine. And if I trust you and you put something in your body and you're consciously calling that medicine, I am corrupting your church for my own selfish gains to tell you you're wrong. My body, my choice is a church. We are experiencing the psychology of that thing. It is a long hymn, and people are struggling with the Latin. It's true. But there's a basketball court here. We got a bus. We got a jukebox, guys. Your immunity is plasmatically a field of electricity. And if you garnish strength from the group, you are going to find the CDC a beacon for majoritarian belief. The same way you would find Dr. Bailey a beacon for anti-belief. Both would do the same. Both would help your belief. And that's why I don't want to tell you what I personally believe about vaccines. I have a personal thought about vaccines. And I don't want to tell you because I don't think it's any of your business, and I mean that respectfully. Why would I want to corrupt your field simply to make mine seem more valid when you witness me? Why can't I treat my immunity like a church and cloister it? Find the people I truly care about and just show it to them. Yes, there's a giant sign outside telling you that there's a church called Vaccines. But that doesn't mean you have to go. It doesn't mean you have to burn it down. It doesn't mean you have to call it the Antichrist simply to build your own congregation. If your congregation cannot remain on its own accord, maybe it shouldn't be there. Because these reactions to the anti of something else are that church. It's the same church. You're in the church of the CDC. You're just simply called a skeptic. That's all. You just don't know it. You're giving them dues. You go to all their sermons. You show up every Sunday. That's the only church you show up at. You show up purposely to stand right outside the property line and throw rocks and point at it to make yourself feel better. And you're going to find other people, and that's good. But I don't think you guys are going to be able to build a church out of it because I'm watching you and it's not working. You're losing people fast. You're losing people fast. You guys need to drop Bailey. You need to drop Sam Bailey. You need to look at cellular absorption. You need to realize that we are symbiotic, and symbiotically we're going to have some kind of cellular signature. It does not have to be vaccine. It does not have to be virus. It doesn't have to be any of those things. But you are symbiotic, and you're not getting out of it. Because you're symbiotic, you're dealing with belief systems that do believe in these things. And it would not be unprudent to consider that you are contagious as much as you are protagious to these other people in the field. You can isolate yourself as much as you want. It's definitely a good form of medicine. But if you could learn to embrace the protagion of this place, I think you'd find that their belief is not only fine, but it invigorates yours because you're honoring the placebo of theirs. And I don't see anti-anyone doing that. I don't see pro-anyone doing that. Those two people are the same. I know you are, but what am I? They're proving themselves by disproving the other. And I don't think it's going to work. You can do it. That's why I didn't want to publish the article. I didn't want to say this today. But somebody was like, because of my little arguments with Bailey, I haven't had an argument with Dr. Sam Bailey. Dr. Sam Bailey has never once mentioned my name, nor has she said or replied to anything that I wrote in my article. Andy Kaufman, I've sent him the exact words of the article, and I've asked him a question. Andy, I would like for you to address this one thing. Do you think that cellular absorption could be a proof of gain of function? And he's not going to answer that. He can't answer that because he knows what that means. Some of you guys want to talk about Amanda Vollmer. Man, go for it. I don't think that you're dealing with someone who's being rational at all. I think if you're watching someone that's claiming that rabies doesn't exist, but there is something called Kuru and it does exactly the same thing, that's not how you disprove rabies. You can put something in a different costume and bring it out to me, but I'm still going to be like, hey, can we take that skirt off? I want to see what you got underneath there, sister. I want to see the cans of this thing. And when you look at the cans of this thing, it's what I described. And probably the biggest silver bullet, ironically, because rabies is shaped like a bullet, the biggest silver bullet in all these things. Someone that no one will touch. Christine insisted she knew what the Allen Institute was, but had no idea what I was talking about. Dr. Sam Bailey doesn't even know that the Allen Institute has done this. Andy Kaufman did not reply to this, nor is Tom Cowan, nor is the people that have left me as patrons and say, I can't be with you anymore because you're being too mean to Cowan. I'm not being too mean to Cowan. I'm asking Cowan to answer a fucking question and he won't. And he can't. And I'm watching people say, well, he's retired as an excuse. It's like, if he's retired, why is he talking? If he's retired, why do you know his name? It's awfully convenient to throw a fucking Maltese cocktail over the fence and then say, I'm retired, and not publish your email address. He's a nice guy. He's fucking John Denver. I get it. This takes a lot of fucking balls to do this. I get it. He's so calm, and so is Andy. Oh my God. Dude's like fucking Charisma Central. I fucking get it. Dr. Sam Bailey. Are you kidding? She's cute as a button. She's a fucking Kiwi going, hello, everyone. She's fucking adorable. Are you kidding? I want to wrap her up and take her on a picnic. It doesn't change the fact that they're charlatans. It doesn't change the fact that they want to help more than they want to be accurate. And what's wrong with that? Nothing. Nothing. The intensity you see in my argument is purely because of the frustration I have in coming to grips with how placebo truly works. And I cannot be the only one. I'm under the impression that I'm on the cutting edge of just trying to understand immunity. And I get that that's very arrogant and self-serving, but I think that way because I keep seeing what I see. That's all. I just keep seeing how many times we exit the off-ramp and we want to give credit to something else. Andy says it's shungite. Andy says it's collagen. And if you wait and you watch, he's going to say something else the next day. Amanda insists it's homemade powdered toothpaste. Fucking swears on it. All these things are going to fix all your problems. All you have to do is give me money. That's what I hear. And I think those people deserve money. I think people deserve money. I think people deserve to live. I don't want you to not have money just because you started church I don't believe. I fucking want to come over and play basketball, bitch. I want to come over and watch and listen to the jukebox that you got going on in your church. I think it's going to inform me. It's going to inspire me. It's going to make me think what's possible if I build my own cathedral. So I want these things. I want us to stop with the anti-bullshit. I want people who are pretending to be rational and pretending to be on top of all this stuff, who just glance over my article and don't actually fucking read, to stop obfuscating and to stop playing these games, because I used to have respect for you. And it's hard now. Because I'm genuinely curious about how the body works. I genuinely want to know more. I find it fascinating. The Osiris model is really hitting deep with me. And how can we talk about the Osiris model if we cannot discuss immunity? And how can we discuss immunity if I'm not even allowed to suggest the idea that gain of function is not only a thing, it's literally the only way that we were able to survive. Do you know why? Because your mother fucking gained of functioned you into this place. You cellularly absorbed her essence to become who the fuck you are now, and you want to claim that this thing doesn't happen. And I don't know how to hang out with you. I don't want to play basketball with you. I don't want to listen to your music because it sounds dumb and it sounds retarded. And I'm worried that you're going to asphyxiate, that it's not going to make it, and you're going to blame me because I'm not pulling enough likes and pushing enough buttons into your system to ensure that you're right, because you're just so fucking anti all over the place. I don't give a shit what you don't believe. Tell me what you do believe. There's your fucking church. That's how you do it. You guys have a great day. We'll see you later.